I was lucky enough to fly out to LA to play the Beta 2 of Arknights Endfield super early. Today I want to go over all of the changes from the first beta to see what's improved. And trust me, there's a lot of improvements. So for those of you that have been living under a rock, let me explain to you what Arknights Endfield is all about. Arknights Endfield is a real-time 3D RPG with strategic elements set in the Arknights universe. It combines real-time strategic team combat and immersive world exploration where players can also transform the world through factory building and regional development. It's honestly such a unique concept that I don't really see done too much, and it adds a lot of depth to the gameplay experience. There's been a lot of changes to this system, so keep that in mind. Players take on the role of the Administrator to explore, defend, and expand humanity's frontier on the planet of Talos 2. Now that you know what Enfield's all about, let's get into my experience with the second beta test. So as you begin the game, you obviously get to decide which main character you want to play, the male or female Administrator. Don't be too worried, you're not exactly locked to a specific choice here because every 24 hours you get to switch if you'd like. The introduction to the game shows you just how stylized these characters and cutscenes are, with a hell of a lot of expression, and the environment looks stunning. All of this is done in Unity as well, which absolutely blows my mind. They've really pushed Unity to its limits here. Throughout the intro to Arknights Endfield, you get introduced to the core gameplay mechanics such as ziplining, and then the attack sequences. Now the tutorial stage has been severely revamped since the first beta. It's much more intuitive, tells you exactly what to do in combat. Now, to attack in this game, you can either just continuously click or hold the attack button. And one of the biggest changes here is that now the dodge mechanic, if you get the perfect dodge timing down, you actually recover SP or skill points back, which allows for a much more rapid sense of combat, being able to use skills a lot more frequently. But not only that, the dodge timing is actually way more forgiving now. In the first beta, it was really difficult to time the dodges, but now it's more forgiving, but not too easy. It's the perfect balance, honestly. Another big change to the dodge mechanic is that previously in beta 1, if you were like halfway through a normal attack sequence, every time you dodge, it'd reset that normal attack sequence. Now, if you dodge, you actually just continue where you left off with the normal attack sequence. So let's say you're 4 out of 5 hits in and you do a perfect dodge, then you can just finish with the end combo, which is very strong and does a lot of stagger damage. The skills are very intuitive, and so is the tutorial. It explains to you that you just need to use your skill points, and to use the skill, you press one of the numbers on your keyboard or corresponding button on the controller, either 1, 2, 3, or 4, based on which character skill you want to use. In the tutorial, you've only got the Administrator, so obviously it's going to be 1. And for the ultimate, you just hold the button down when you've gathered enough energy for your ultimate. Now, even in endgame, the Administrator seems really strong, to be honest. I love a game with a strong MC, and the intro to the game now really does a good job at outlining just how strong the main character is. Not only in combat, but also from a strategical standpoint. I mean, what other MC do you know that can just summon massive artillery cannons to take down the enemies for you? The tutorial boss is actually incredibly well done, in my opinion. It is beautiful, with actually pretty challenging mechanics, but it teaches you dodge timings and how to kind of take note of enemies' super telegraphed attacks really easily. And this thing is humongous. It's a really good test to see if you've learned everything the tutorial put in front of you, and a testament to how good the rest of the game's combat actually is. It's also the introduction to being able to use more than one character, since you get a team of 4. Here's where you learn how to use multiple characters' skills, combo attacks, and things like that. Now, combo attacks are also another humongous part of Arknights Enfield's combat. After fulfilling certain conditions, like finishing an attack combo, you can press E to then launch a combo attack with a different character. This usually does massive damage to the enemy's HP bar and also stagger meter, and it's incredibly fluid, and honestly, one of my favorite additions to Enfield combat. I think it makes the fights feel much more fast-paced and much more action-packed. Another really cool feature of Enfield's combat is whenever this big red circle's closing in on an enemy, you need to use a skill to interrupt it. This does huge stagger damage and interrupts the enemy's attack. Now, in terms of the story, I'm not going to go too much past the tutorial stage here because I want to avoid spoilers for those who do want to play it, but it does feel much more fleshed out than what I remember it being in the first beta. I feel like I got to understand Administrator's struggles and why they're in the situation that they're currently in, and it showed a lot more depth to the other playable characters that you meet along the way. Don't worry, I'm not spoiling a ton here. Beta 2 has a ton of content for you all to play if you manage to get in, from around 40 to 60 hours worth. It is jam-packed. Now, not only does Arknights Endfield have a beautiful scenery with a beautiful cast of characters, but there's also some new characters that are in the beta too. 9 of them to be exact. Here's an entire list of all the characters in the game. The brand new 6-star characters are Ardelia and Last Rite, along with Pogranichnik. For 5-star characters, we've got Alesh, and then for 4 stars, we have Antal, who is one of my favorite designs in the game, I'm not gonna lie, Fluorite, Estella, Katja, and Akakuri. These characters are all pretty unique combat-wise, and I'll show you a little bit more of them later on in the video. Now, other than the story and the amazing character designs, what else is there to look forward to in Arknights Endfield? The combat I've already touched upon, but what I haven't touched upon is the incredible boss designs, literally and figuratively. The bosses look visually stunning, but the mechanics of these bosses are genuinely so cool. I took on this marble Aglamorai, and I'm using Pogranichnik here on a level 80 boss. I wanted to challenge myself because I'd already fought it once, but just look at these movesets, man. There's certain attacks in this game where you really have to pay attention and learn them over time. It's not just a case of going in there and understanding what to do straight away, which I really, really like. It offers a new depth of challenge. And you can't just dash to dodge everything. Sometimes there's going to be attacks that are very telegraphed, where there's red circles on the ground that you clearly have to dodge out of. But then sometimes you're going to see bosses do things like this and fly up into the air, a big beam in the center, and when it gets to a certain strength, you gotta jump to evade the ground damage. There's so many cool mechanics in the game like this, alongside just relentless assaults from the boss themselves. It gives a new take and a new spin on what difficulty in gacha combat really is. Let me just quickly go through and show you the character designs that are currently out in the Enfield Beta 2. So of course we have the Administrator, we have Chen Chanyu, who's very cute and smiley, unlike her counterpart in Arknights. We have Wolfguard, who looks absolutely insane. Incredibly cool animations. Pogranichnik, which is one of my favorite new characters, to be honest. I think he's absolutely awesome. Very much horse inspired. We have Last Rite, who has some incredible assets and a really slick outfit, and of course I love the Elfias. Ardelia summons this sheep. It's very cute, to be honest, but she's also a really cool character. She does deal a good amount of damage and also helps with a bit of heals too. Then we have Yvonne, Li Feng. A lot of these characters were out in beta 1 as well. We have Gilberta, Ember, oh my goodness, Levitain, which honestly is one of my favorite design characters in the whole game. Alesh is again one of the brand new characters. We have Dapan, Snowshine, who, let me just tell you, I used her a lot, and she, I think, is going to be one of the best characters on release. I used her in one of the hardest stages, and she's basically this tank. When you use her skills, she puts this like snowboard shield down in front of her that can pretty much parry every attack that hits it, and her character collaboration attack also heals your active character. I'm probably going to have her in every single team that I have when this game comes out. Then we have Avuana. I know everyone's going to love this design. We have Jaihi, Arclight, Fluorite, a new reptilian-based character that uses a lot of cryo and nature. Then we have Estella, we have Katja, Akakuri, Antal, the brand new dragon-inspired 4-star, and I think they did him so much justice. Personally, favorite male character in the game, and just a bit of a nod to some of the weapons here. The design of the Kravenga is insane, and this Never Rest weapon really suits Pogranichnik so well. So that's the tutorial, the combat, the character designs, and a little bit of the bosses covered already. I have to tell you about the brand new area of the Beta 2. This is Wuling City. It's Chinese inspired, but not just kind of traditional Chinese or mystical. It's also a lot of futuristic Arknights Endfield style. The mixture of these two elements is honestly beautiful and really refreshing to see. And again, we just get so much brand new, beautiful scenery that is totally different from everything players have seen before. The characters look insanely cool, and from what I played of this, the storyline seems real solid too. I'm so excited to jump into this new area and see what it's all about. And now let me talk to you about something a little bit more specific. So in Arknights Endfield, there is a system called the Automated Industry Complex. It's basically a factory system that you use to build and transform the terrain and environment to power things like combat and exploration. You have full reign to transform the world through industrial growth and build and manage automated production lines. You can gather resources, leverage the regional development system to create a better homeland for humanity. It honestly goes so in depth that is wild. However, a lot of people were kind of overwhelmed by this system, and the developers for Arknights Endfield are very much aware of that, and they've implemented something that makes it a ton easier, and even somebody stupid like me can understand it almost entirely just based off of this brand new addition, the blueprint system. So what did they do exactly? They added a way for you to basically go through a handhold tutorial about each and every aspect of this core game mode, and once you've completed said game mode, you unlock a blueprint blueprint to make it basically a one-click addition to your factory. Now, the main goal is basically to get your entire production line in order and every single block filled with something, which a lot of players do find very difficult, myself included. So how did they remedy this? They've actually added a really cool feature for the blueprint system. So if you figure something out that is perfect, you can save it as a blueprint. You can then share that blueprint with friends or online so that other people have a much easier time, which also means if you're struggling with it, you will be able to find other people's blueprints to basically just copy their ideas. This makes what could be a very overwhelming experience for a lot of people literally one of the easiest things in the game. It also adds a lot to the co-op experience because the more players get to work together, the better for the game community, in my opinion. And trust me, you're going to want to do these factories. They help out with the game a lot. So whether you want to showcase off your own talents and build your own factory or just yoink somebody else's idea to make life easier, you can do either. Now, this second beta really did show me that Driftline are here for the player base. They really do want to listen to the feedback and make really big improvements to the gameplay experience, and it's really kind of solidified a lot of trust between me and the developer here. Obviously, everything you just saw doesn't represent final quality of the game. It's still in beta, but I think it's a huge step in the right direction compared to what beta 1 was. The game feels really good. It looks really good, and I am so excited to see what this game evolves into by the time it releases. Thank you all for watching, and thank you again to Arknights Endfield for allowing me to play the beta 2 early, and subscribe for more Enfield news in the future.